HTML semantic elements. Semantic elements are equal to elements with a meaning. So, what are semantic elements? A semantic element clearly describes its meaning to both the browser and the developer. Examples of non-semantic elements are the div and the span elements. They tell nothing about its content. Examples of semantic elements, we have the form, the table, and article. Clearly defines its content. Semantic elements in HTML. Many websites contain HTML code like we have here a div, an ID is assigned to nav, we have another div, this time we have a class assigned to header, then we have a div, and this time we have an ID. So as you can see, we have an ID, a class ID, to indicate navigation, header, and footer. In HTML, there are some semantic elements that can be used to define different parts of a web page. As you can see, we have the header, we have the nav, we have the section, we have the article, a site, and at the bottom we have the footer. So as you can see, we have these elements here: the article, element, aside, details, fig caption, figure, footer, header, main, mark, nav, section, summary, and time. So here we have the HTML section element, and we already saw some examples of the section element in previous videos, but we're gonna read the definition. The section element defines a section in a document. According to W3C's HTML documentation, a section is a thematic grouping of content, typically with a heading. Examples of where a section element can be used are chapters, introduction, news items, contact information. A web page could normally be split into two sections for introduction, content, and contact information. And here we have an example. Here we have the section element from here to here, and inside of that we're gonna have a heading 1, and then we're gonna have a paragraph. So this is where we close or we end the section element, and then we open a new section element with a heading 1 and a paragraph. So we're gonna see this example. We're gonna open Visual Studio Code. We're gonna click here and try it yourself, and we're gonna go to Visual Studio Code, and we're gonna create a file named index.html. So index.html. So we have a file to work with, and we're gonna go to it's still charging, so we can create a template. So we're gonna create a template, shift exclamation mark, then we press enter, and now we're gonna grab this these sections elements, and we're gonna go inside of the body section. So I'm gonna go here, and as you can see, we have these two sections inside of the body. So I'm gonna move it to the right a little bit. Okay, so inside of the body we have the two sections. From lines 11 to 14 we have a section element. We have a heading 1, WWF, and a paragraph, the worldwide fund for nature. Then from line 16 to 19 we also have another section element. We also have a heading 1 and also a paragraph. So we're gonna see how it looks like. So you press Alt+L+O, or you just go to your index.html file, right click and open with live server, and you can press here Alt+L, Alt+O. So, and this is how it looks like. WWF, this is a section, this is a section, and this is the second section. And if we click the Ctrl+Shift+I to open the Chrome Developer Tools, you can see that here you have the first section, and it's in kind of like a blue color here. And if you go to the second section, it points to the second section in a kind of like a light blue color. And you can go inside and check it out. We're seeing right now the H1. We're also right now seeing the heading. That is for the first section. We can go to the second section and do the same thing, heading 1 and the paragraph. So that is that. And right now I am in the toggle device toolbar. If I click it, it goes back to normal. If I click it again, right now it's in the 541 pixels of width by 650 pixels of height. So we can just leave it like this. Okay, so now we're gonna see HTML article element. The article element specifies independent, self-contained content. An article should make sense on its own, and it should be possible to distribute it independently from the rest of the website. Examples of where the article element can be used: we have forum posts, we have blog posts, we have user comments, product cards, and we have newspaper articles. So here we have an example. And again, we're gonna go to Visual Studio Code, and we're gonna delete from lines 11 to 19 the previous two sections that we have. We're just gonna delete it and save it. So we go to our website and it has to be nothing. Okay, there's nothing here. Semantic elements, we can put here our title is gonna be semantic elements, so it's gonna be semantic elements. Okay, so that's gonna be our title. But here inside of the body section, we're gonna grab this example. We're gonna grab this article here. Okay, so we're gonna grab this article and we're gonna paste it right here in line 11. So I have an article element. If you mouse over it, you can read the description. The article element represents a complete or self-contained composition in a document, page, application, or site, and that is in principle independently distributable or reusable, e.g. in syndication. This could be a forum post, a magazine, or a newspaper, as we read it before. So inside of this article element, and we can make it a little bigger one with Ctrl plus, we have an H2, a heading 2, it's gonna be Google Chrome. Then we're gonna have a paragraph. Google Chrome is a web browser. Okay, and then we're gonna end the article tag. Okay, so we're gonna have 3 article tags, and the first article tag was from line 11 to 14. The second article is gonna be from lines 16 to 19, and the third one is gonna be from lines 21 to 24. Let's save it and let's see how it looks like. Well, it looks like this. We could use some CSS maybe to make it look better. Let me see if I try here. But for now, okay, well, we can just yeah, it's pretty much the same. So let's just, yeah, it's pretty much the same. So we can use some CSS, but well, we have 3 articles here. This article element, we started at line 7 and we ended up at line 10. We have a heading 2, Google Chrome. We have a paragraph. The second article is going to be from lines 12 to 15. We're going to have a heading 2 of Mozilla Firefox and a paragraph with some information. And finally, we're going to have a third article with a heading 2 of Microsoft Edge and a paragraph with some content. So we save it, we open our website, and this is how it look like. And if you want to make it look better, you could use some CSS, but we're just gonna move. So that is that. Oh, here's the example of the CSS. So we're gonna see a second example right now. Okay, so this is pretty much, we're talking about again the article element, but this time we're gonna be using a style. So we're gonna be using CSS. So we're gonna go to our website, to our Visual Studio Code, and our index.html. We're just gonna copy this example. So right now here we have an article, and we have a class of all browsers. Okay, so inside of that we're gonna have a heading 1, and then we're gonna have another article, but this time the class is gonna be just browser. So below that we're gonna have a heading 2 and a paragraph, and then we're gonna close this article here. We're gonna end this article tag, the first one. Then we're gonna have a second article tag, this time with class browser again. Okay, so let me see, it didn't load. Okay, so but we're gonna grab this example and we just go to our Visual Studio Code and let's see how it looks like. So this is how it should look like. So this is the code that we have here, and yeah, as we can see we have this article element. I'm gonna differentiate, and inside of that we're gonna have an H1, most popular browser. Okay, below that we're gonna have an article with a class browser, and it's gonna be from lines 31 to lines 34. And the most important thing is that it's gonna have a class of browser, and inside of this article we're gonna have the heading 2, Google Chrome, and a paragraph. Google Chrome is a web browser, so some information. Okay, so below that we're gonna have another article with a class browser, a heading 2, and a paragraph from lines 36 to 39. And finally we're gonna have a third article from lines 41 to 44 with article class browser. So the article element and the class is gonna be browser, and this time the heading 2 is gonna be Microsoft Edge. So we're gonna have Microsoft Edge, Mozilla Firefox, and Google Chrome. We're gonna save it, and we're gonna go to our website, and this is how it looks like. And we're using here we're using some CSS on styling, so we're gonna use the style element. Inside of the style element we're gonna use that all browsers, so the name of the class, because these three articles, the first article, the second article, and the third article, are inside of this article here with class all browsers. So we're gonna use that all browsers, and we're gonna open curly braces. We're gonna have a margin of 0, a padding of 5 pixels, and a background color of, you can choose whatever color you like. You can choose maybe this color. So let's see how it looks like. It looks like this. So outside of that we close the curly braces, and now we're gonna go for the next class that is gonna be all browsers. All browsers. And this time we're gonna choose all browser except H1 and that browser. So this article has class browser, the second article also has a class browser, and the third article has class browser, but this article here, it has a class of all browsers. So here in line 10 we're gonna pick that all browsers except, so we're gonna use the greater than sign, H1 for the heading 1, comma, that browser, so those three articles. And we're gonna open curly braces. We're gonna use a margin of 10 pixels and a padding of 5 pixels. Outside of that we're gonna have the class browser. This time is gonna be the articles, and the background is gonna be white. And as you can see, if we go to our website, these are the three articles. They have a background and the color is white, so we can maybe change it to kind of like, I don't know, this color here, and we can save it, and let's see how it looks like. So it looks like this. And if we Ctrl Shift I, we can see the Chrome Developer Tool. So we go to the articles here, and inside of the articles we're gonna have the first article. Inside of these articles with class all browsers, we're gonna go inside, and we have an article with class browser, the second article, the third article. So you can also toggle device toolbar to see how it looks like, to see if it's responsive. Okay, so that is that. And what else do we have here? Okay, so we close curly braces, and now we're gonna have again that browser, but this time we're not gonna take in consideration the heading 2 and the paragraph. So the heading 2 are the Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Microsoft Edge, and their respective paragraph. And this time we open curly braces, and the margin is going to be assigned to 4 pixels. The font size is going to be assigned to 90%. So that is that, and then we end the style tag. And yeah, that's pretty much how this code works. You go to your website, and this is how it should look like, and you can play with the colors. So that is that. And now we're gonna see nesting article in section, or vice versa. The article element specifies independent self-contained content. The section element defines section and a document. Can we use the definitions to decide how to nest those elements? No, we cannot. So you will find HTML pages with section elements containing articles elements, and the article elements containing section elements. HTML header element. The header element represents a container for introductory content or a set of navigational links. A header element typically contains one or more heading elements. From heading 1 to heading 6, we have a logo or an icon. We have the authorship information. Note, you can have several header elements in one HTML document. However, header cannot be placed with a footer, address, or a header element or another header element. And here we have this example. So we're gonna go to Visual Studio Code. I'm just gonna delete the stuff. I'm gonna press Shift exclamation mark, and now I'm gonna grab this example that I have here. I'm gonna copy and gonna paste it inside of the body section. So inside of the body section we have this article, and inside of this article we're gonna have a header, as you can see here. And inside of this header we're gonna have a heading 1 and a paragraph, and then we're gonna end that header tag. Outside of that we're gonna have a paragraph, and then we're gonna end the article tag. So we save it and we open our website, and this is how it looks like. So what does WWF do? And there is the mission. And if we go to Ctrl+Shift+I to the Chrome Developer Tools, you can see we have the body, we have the article here, and inside of the article we have a header, and if you click here we'll have the H1, we have the H1, and we also have the paragraph. That is that for the header inside of the article, and outside of that we have another paragraph, and then we end the article tag. So that's how it looks like. Now we're gonna move to HTML footer element. The footer element defines a footer for a document or section. A footer element typically contains authorship information, copyright information, contact information, sitemap, back to tab links, related documents. You can have several footer elements in one document. Here we have an example. Again, we're gonna go to our index.html file. I'm just gonna delete lines from lines 11 to 19, and I'm just gonna grab this piece of code. I'm gonna go to Visual Studio Code again. I'm gonna paste it here, and we're gonna save it. And now we have a footer element. You can mouse over it and you can read this information. Inside of that we have a paragraph, and we have the author. Outside of that, to the next line, to line 13, we have another paragraph, and inside of that we're gonna have an A element. We're gonna have an href =, double quotes, and inside of the double quotes we're gonna have the mail to : and then the email in this case is gonna be hedge@example.com, and then the context. So we end the A tag, and then we end the paragraph tag, and then we end the footer tag. So we save it and then we open our website, and this is how it should look like. So you have the author, and then you have the email. Yeah, this is how it should look like. Now we have the HTML nav element. The nav element defines a set of navigation links. Notice that not all links of a document should be inside of a nav element. The nav element is intended only for major blocks of navigation links. Browsers such as screen readers for disabled users can use this element to determine whether to omit the initial rendering of this content. So here we have some examples of the nav links. And again, we can just grab these examples and just go to our website, to our Visual Studio Code, to our index.html file. We're gonna delete lines from lines 11 to 14, and we're gonna paste what we just grabbed. So we're gonna save it. We have the nav element. The nav element represents a section of a page that links to other pages or parts within the page, a section with navigation links. Inside of the nav, we have the A element. If the A element has an href attribute, then it represents a hyperlink, a hypertext anchor labeled by its contents. So we're gonna have the equal sign, double quotes, and this time we're gonna have /HTML/. We close the double quote. We close the double quotes, we close the angle brackets, and the text is gonna say HTML, and then we end the A tag. So now we're gonna use this this vertical sign, or the exclamation, or the or. So we are gonna save it, and we're gonna open our website, and this is how it should look like. And this is the vertical bar, or the logical or operator. So we're gonna have HTML or CSS or JavaScript or jQuery, and after the vertical bar, we're gonna do the same. The A element href equal double quotes, and then /CSS/. We close the angle bracket CSS, we end the A tag, and we're gonna do the same for the JavaScript and the jQuery. So that is how the nav element is intended. Okay, so now we're gonna have the HTML aside element. The aside element defines some content aside from the content it is placing, like a sidebar. The aside content should be indirectly related to the surrounding content. And here we have an example. We're gonna grab this example, and we're gonna go to our Visual Studio Code. We are gonna delete the nav here, the nav element, from lines 11 to 16, and we're gonna paste the code that we just grabbed. So here we have a paragraph. And okay, outside of that, we're gonna have the aside element, and inside of the aside element, we're gonna have an h4, and then we're gonna have a paragraph. So this is how it should look like. So we have inside of the body section, we're gonna have a paragraph, and below that we're gonna have the aside element, and inside of the aside element we're gonna have an h4 and another paragraph. So we save it, and we go to our website and see how it looks like. So this is how it should look like. My family and I visited the Epcot Center this summer, so we're talking about this paragraph here, and then we're gonna have, when we finish this paragraph, we're gonna have the aside element. So the aside element is gonna start with the h4. So this is gonna be the h4, and we're gonna have another paragraph that is gonna be below the h4, and this is the one. So we're gonna press Ctrl+Shift+I to see the Chrome Developer tool. So we have inside of the body, if you click here, we have the paragraph, and then we have the aside element, and inside of the aside element we're gonna have the h4 and the paragraph. So that's how it works. And we have a second example here. Let me see if this is not working. Okay, so we're gonna grab this example. We're gonna see some basic CSS, and we're just gonna paste it in our HTML file. Okay, so we have an HTML file, and we have the style for the CSS, but first we're gonna go for the HTML. So inside of the body section, we are gonna have this paragraph. We're gonna have this paragraph information. Okay, so below the paragraph we're gonna have the aside element, and inside of the aside element we're gonna have a paragraph. We're gonna have this paragraph here. Okay, so I'm gonna make it a little bit better. So we have this paragraph here inside of the aside element. We end the aside tag, and finally we're gonna have two more paragraphs, and this is how it should look like. So we're gonna save it, and we're gonna open our website. This is how it should look like. So as you can see to your right side, the Epcot Center is a theme park at Walt Disney. We are using this aside element, so that is the reason that is looking that way. And you can read this. The aside element represents a section of a page that consists of content that is tangentially related to the content around the aside element, and which could be considered separate from the content. Such sections are often represented as sidebars in printed typography. So that is that for the HTML, and now we're gonna see the style. So we're gonna see the CSS, and I'm gonna move this one to the right. So we have the style element, and inside of the style element we are gonna have the aside, and we're just gonna pick the aside, and then we're gonna open curly braces. We're gonna have the width of 30%, the padding left 15 pixels. We're gonna have the margin left 15 pixels. We're gonna have a flow right. We're gonna have the font style italic, and the color background is gonna be, which you can pick whatever you want. You can maybe pick this one. Let me see how it looks like. We can go to our website, and this is how it should look like. So that is the second example for the aside element. Now we're gonna see HTML figure and fig caption elements. The figure tag specifies self-contained content like illustrations, diagrams, photos, code listing, etc. The fig caption tag defines a caption for a figure element. The fig caption element can be placed as the first or as the last child of the figure element. The image element defines the actual image illustration. So we can grab this example here and just go to our Visual Studio Code. Just press Shift exclamation mark, and inside of the body section we're gonna paste this piece of code since it's small. And let me see if I have this picture. It's gonna be pig underscore trolley.jpg, and I don't have it, I guess. So we're gonna I'm just gonna grab its name, and I'm just gonna, what is this one? No, let me see this one. I think it's this one. So I'm just gonna rename it. So I'm gonna rename it, and it's gonna be this name. So now I have this, and now I have the source. So we have a basic HTML template. Inside of the body section we're gonna have the figure element. The figure element represents some flow content, optionally with a caption that is self-contained, like a complete sentence, and is typically referenced as a single unit from the main flow of the document. Inside of that we're gonna have the image element. We're gonna have the source, equal sign, double quotes. Inside of the double quotes we're gonna have the name of our file. In this case it's gonna be this one. Where did I save it? Peak, okay, it's this one. Peak underscore trolley .jpg, and then the alt is gonna be the description trolley. Outside of that we're gonna have the feed caption element. The feed caption element represents a caption or a legend for the rest of the contents of the feed caption element's parent figure element, if any. And inside of that, the text is gonna be figure 1 that hyphen trolley comma Puglia comma Italy, and then we're gonna end the feed caption tag, and finally we're gonna end the figure tag. So we're gonna save it and we're gonna go to our website, and this is how it should look like. As you can see, we have this information here as the feed caption element, so that is the purpose of that. So why semantic elements? According to the W3C, a semantic web allows data to be shared and reused across applications, enterprises, and communities. Semantic elements and HTML. Below is a list of some of the semantic elements in HTML. So here we have the tag and the description. We have the article tag, defines independent self-contained content. We have the aside, defines content aside from the page content. We have details, defines additional details that the user can view or hide. We have the feed caption that we saw right now, defines a caption for the figure element. We have the figure, it specifies self-contained content like illustrations, diagrams, photos, code listings, etc. We have the footer tag, defines a footer for a document or section. We have the header, it specifies a header for a document or section. We have the main, that specifies the main content of a document. We have the mark, defines mark highlighted text. We have the nav, defines navigation links. Section, defines a section in a document. We have the summary, that defines a visible heading for a detailed element. And finally we have the time, that defines a date time.